Hi, we are on a journey to release 2013 and move into 2014 with a clean slate. Hopefully you've been doing your homework and you've been doing your journaling and you've been working with these 7 steps. And today we are going to work on a very important part of the 7 steps, which is disappointments and difficulties. Because we live in the world of opposites, all year long we were either one area of the opposites or the other. Swing back and forth all the time. And swinging back and forth from one opposite to the other is part of your spiritual journey. Being in the now moment is when you can be the observer of self and focus on the now and not allow the opposites to take you one way or the other. So I'm talking about today disappointments and difficulties. Because every year we have a lot of disappointments and difficulties because we live in the world of opposites. And if you can really think about what the opposites do and how you respond to the opposites, it's going to help you a great deal to work through this particular step of disappointments and difficulties. Because as we swing to the disappointments and difficulties, like we had last week, hopes and dreams, and those are the things you dreamed about. And boy, when the hopes and dreams come true, we're very excited. It's the most wonderful thing in the world. But when something comes up and we have to swing the other way and it's a difficulty, then it blocks out all the good things that could have been happening that day. In order to support the evolution of your soul, you need to look deeply into the difficulties that you've had this year. The reason I say the difficulties you had this year, because I found that the most difficult things that I've had to face this year were my greatest tools to advance my consciousness. And this is the same for you. As you do your journaling now and look at this portion, this step, it's a step in your evolution. It's a step to release old karmic patterns, release ideas that have not been productive for you this year. There's a lot of things that happened this year that were karmically pushed on you, experienced by you, understood by you. If you're a spiritual student, you know that anything that happens to you that's difficult is there for only one purpose, to help you to move out of the human world of opposites into the God realization of I am one with the one. I am one with the one, meaning the infinite intelligence. So let us just look at this wonderful world of disappointments and difficulties. So get your pencil and paper out and you write on the top of it, disappointments and difficulties 2013. And start making your list. And the first thing you want to look at here is what disappointed you the most this year. Now we have a lot of disappointments, but what was the one thing that triggered you, that made you angry, that perhaps you said things that you wish you hadn't said? Perhaps you had an experience by a coworker or a spouse. Even somebody working at a store. Whatever. You had experience. But what was the most major experience this year? What really was so difficult? Maybe you had a divorce this year. Maybe you had lost your home. I mean, I can make 25 different things to suggest to you, but you know what it was. And sometimes it's the smallest thing that's the biggest thing. The smallest thing that you had to deal with had the biggest fallback for you, that you couldn't get over it. So this is the time that you take that exact thing and you look at it. And you say to yourself, what is it that really triggered me? What is it that I need to look at that perhaps I did not look at earlier this year? I've got the opportunity now to really get honest with myself. Get honest with how I'm going to deal with this difficulty, this disappointment that I had this year, that I've got to deal with right now. So as you journal this and you write down this disappointing thing, you will come up with other things. I promise you that. You start out with one thing and it brings you to another thing. And journaling is so important because your subconscious can come forth and help you to expose those things in the subconscious that maybe you buried this year. Because what we're really working on at another level is diluting this karmic piece, letting it go. And of course, I'm going to be talking to you soon about forgiveness, and they kind of go hand in hand. Difficulties and forgiveness, they kind of work together. But for right now, I need you to look at what was difficult for you. What just turned you upside down and sideways that you never expected. That is going to release a lot of negative energy in your subconscious. This will help you more than you have any idea. So I encourage you, and a lot of times when I come up and teach at different churches, which I've done for the last 25 years, I've found that everybody was with me, tracking with me every week until we got to the point where the disappointments and difficulties started being addressed and the forgiveness. And then the attendance dropped measurably. Don't be one of those people that say, oh, this is too hard. Oh, well, I don't have any difficulties. I think I'll just pass it on. No big deal. That's the one that needs to look at it for sure. So I support you in being honest with yourself. Nobody needs to see your notes but you. And then we are going to tear them up. We're going to throw them away. And we're going to move into this new year that's coming, but we're going to do it free and clear. I want all the karma to be taken care of this year. If you can take care of the karma that you did this year and erase a lot of that from your karmic record, you are going to advance spiritually much quicker and faster. And things are going to come to you quicker and faster. When we have a challenge and we take up the gauntlet, so to speak, and say, I'm taking this on and I'm going to work it through, whatever it means, and I'm going to do my journaling, I will take responsibility. You see, on this journey of evolution, every step we take, there's always a test. And I know I've talked about this in the past. And I've told you that every new step that you take, you have to be tested. What can we count on? What can the masters count on? Will you tuck it under the rug and pretend like it's not there, or will you take responsibility? Because the more responsibility you take for your spiritual growth, the more opportunity you have to move your consciousness and open up new avenues of understanding your whole self in God. It's just a veil that's between you and the God consciousness. Just a veil. And we are taking these veils off till we get to the big veil. And once that veil is ready to come off, then we see God. We know God. We understand ourselves in God. But you have to do the work. I have found out how often students expect that they can just automatically become God consciousness with very little effort. Oh, I hope that they find that to be true, because I sure didn't. But every step I took, honest step I took to know God in me, through me, beyond me, in every way, and become God realized, God conscious of the higher dimension of myself. And it's just a dimension, it's just a consciousness that you begin to experience and move in. Everything is consciousness. So when you're working on the disappointments and difficulties, that is a consciousness. It's a consciousness of lack, or a consciousness of unforgiveness, or a consciousness that is tripped and trapped into your subconscious that must be let go of. So make your list. What is the most difficult thing that you had to deal with this year? Make it. Be honest with yourself. I support you in figuring that out, because it's going to set you free at a level you have no idea. At what's connected with what's connected is what's connected. It's all connected. You've evolved to many, many lifetimes. You have gotten all kinds of karmic pulls from different souls that have been with you before. Even your own self that has developed through one lifetime after another lifetime carries with it much of the problems from the last lifetime, brings it right back to deal with it again. And sometimes you've been successful and sometimes you haven't. But my gosh, if you will honor the soul that you are by doing the work, so that 2014 you move into a whole new opportunity for yourself, because there's great new energy coming through, and you'll be able to move much faster and quicker if you will do your work. So what is the hardest thing you had to deal with this year? What is it? What is the most difficult thing you had to do? What did you have to do? Did you have to fire an employee? Did you have to reprimand somebody? What did you have to do? D-O, do. What action? Doing is action. What action did you have to take that was difficult for you? Look at that also. And then what decisions, attitudes, and beliefs do you have about this year? It's the crappiest year I ever had. I don't ever want to have it again. Oh, some of the things really were good, and I really got a lot of things done. Yay team. Yay me. Look at those things. It's all so important to you. It's very, extremely important that you allow yourself to experience this year consciously looking at it as the observer self. I like to think about it this way. If I were to die and I had to look at this year from the point of the soul evaluating, what would I think about the year? The first of the year, the 15th of the year, the 20th of the year? What did I think? And how are some of the things that happen this year going to affect you next year? Are you going to carry them on your back? Your resentment, you're going to carry right along with you? Are you going to carry that albatross around your neck and create more karma for yourself because of your unforgiveness for yourself? And we are going to talk next week about forgiveness. It goes hand in hand with your disappointments and difficulties. Goes right hand in hand. And I want you to prepare yourself to do the forgiveness work. And in fact, if you are smart, as you go through this, you will do the forgiveness work also. Before we ever get to that step. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These steps can be taken any way you choose to take them. There were things that I had to look at this year that I had to forgive myself for, or forgive the other person for, when I was looking at it. But it helped me to know that I can't go to forgiveness till the week comes. No, that's not right. You can do your forgiveness and release it as you're going through your list. But we will talk about forgiveness more seriously next week. And you who have been with me for many, many, many years and have done this work, you know the process. And you know how important it is to take off the clothes of this year and let them go. Every day you change your clothes. You wash your clothes and you put on clean clothes every day. Look at it this year as I'm looking at the year, and I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to start the new year clean and fresh. You know how that feels when we take a bath and we get some new fresh clothes on, comb our hair. We feel good about ourselves because we're ready to roll again. Well, I challenge you. I say, please, do what's best for your soul. Do the work. It pays great dividends. So I congratulate you on being responsible and being the observer as you look at these hopes and dreams, disappointments and difficulties, and also forgiveness. All of this goes together. One way or another, you're going to set yourself free. You might as well do it now or wait for 10 more years. I suggest to you, do it now. Bye-bye. See you later.